Let's see. All right, I'm back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. This is something, has nothing to do with me. It's something that is going on with Facebook. Again, I am Anne Humphrey. I am tonight here going live on Facebook speaking about The Science of Getting Rich by Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. I've already read chapter 15, which is called The Advancing Man, and now I'm doing recaps. But for some reason, something is happening with Facebook because I'm getting messages in the middle of the video saying that there is an issue with the video. But let's not dwell there. Let's just keep on moving. I want to also say that the frequency sounds that you hear, I do not own the rights. I do not own the rights. I do not own the rights. Okay? And then also, I would like to say for all of my YouTubers, those of you who will be watching this this video on YouTube, this is part 3, be sure to like the Aw Show fan page, subscribe to it, hit the bell so you will know when I have uploaded another video. And for anyone else who may be watching this on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media platforms, please be sure to subscribe to the Aw Show video. And you just simply put in Anne Humphrey, and that's Anne with an E, Humphrey, the Aw Show. And AH is for my initials, the Aw Show. That's how you'll be able to find us. But hit subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, because that will help me and our channel to be found through YouTube. So let's get back into Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, chapter 15, The Advancing Man. This is where I'm giving my recap. So I left off on the other video speaking about when Mr. Wallace D. Wattles was truly giving, I call it a recipe for advancement, and how he spoke about this particular area here. And I think it's important to give it, to read it again for those of you who may be just stopping by and just click on part 3. He specifically says, do not try to more than fill your present place with a view to pleasing your employer. Do it with the idea of advancing yourself. Now, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles is going to tell us how you advance yourself. He says, hold the faith and purpose of increase during work hours, after work hours, and before work hours. Hold it in such a way that every person who comes in contact with you, whether foreman, fellow workman, or social acquaintance, will feel the power of purpose radiating from you, so that everyone will get the sense of advancement and increase from you. Men will be attracted to you, and if there is no possibility for advancement in your present job, you will very soon see an opportunity to take another job. But the reason why I was staying in this area is because, as he says, that you have to hold the faith and purpose of increase during your work hours, after your work hours, and before your work hours. And it's super important that you, the person, you, ladies and gentlemen, must be that conduit, must be that person that's radiating increase all through your pores, that people wherever, when you get up, the people in your home, they can actually feel increase. The people that dwell in your home with you, the people that you come in contact with, whether you're paying for gas at the gas station or going inside the gas station to pick up your morning coffee, as many of you like to drink your morning coffee, or if you're sitting in your cubicle right now and you're working at your job, you're back at work, or you could be working from home, whatever, they should be able to feel increase from you. And he gives us the methodology and the system in which we must be conscious about how we're showing up when we show up. Let me move along. You've got to read that. Oh, let me just show that to you because I think it's important because we're doing part 3. It's the last paragraph. And the reason why I like to show these words in the camera, because I know just by seeing those words, it will permeate and penetrate through your soul. Okay? All right. Another area I like to mention is when Mr. Wallace D. Waddles, in fact, he said so much, but he says, there is a power which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing man who is moving in obedience to law. See, ladies and gentlemen, everything that we do, everything, how we show up, we must be obedient to the law. There are laws that govern us all. And I don't mean just laws that you read in a book. I'm talking about spiritual laws. There are laws that govern us all. No one on planet Earth can say, well, those laws just don't go for me. I don't have to abide by them. No, 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 no. Yes, you do, ladies and gentlemen. No one is exempt from these spiritual laws. And this is why he says there is a power which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing man who is moving in obedience to law. Now, this part here, I love this part. I love everything. So I can't say I just love everything Mr. Wallace D. Waddles wrote. But here's another section. He says, if a few thousands of its employees would enter upon the certain way, the steel trust would soon be in a bad plight. It would have to give its working men more opportunity or go out of business. Nobody has to work for a trust. The trust can keep men in so-called hopeless conditions only so long as there are men who are too ignorant to know of the science of getting rich, or too intellectually slothful to practice it. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? As soon as I hear that word, slothful, it reminds me of the story in the Bible where it speaks about the men who had their talents and the one who buried his talent, his one little talent, because he did not allow that talent to increase and multiply. He buried it. And then the response was, you wicked and slothful servant. See, there are laws to everything that we do. There is a spiritual law, a universal law, however you want to call it. And then there are laws of the land. Like you got to stop at stop signs. You just can't just run through stop signs. You got to stop at the red light. You can't hit people in the car while you're driving because you want to just keep driving and not stop for pedestrians. There are laws that we have. You got to be obedient and kind neighbors and don't make such a fuss and have parties and making loud noises. Those are laws of the land. But there are spiritual, universal laws that we all must govern ourselves. And I love how he says, or too intellectually slothful to practice it. And I know some really intelligent people who have all the degrees in the world. And that's all they have. That's all they have. That's another story at another time. And I don't have anything against anyone who goes off to get all the education that you get. I suggest that you do it if that's something that you know you've been called to do. However, there is something about when a person, it doesn't matter if you have the degrees or not have the degrees, according to Mr. Wallace D. Waddles, when you are too intellectually slothful to practice it, there's a problem. And it doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what walk of life you are in. Okay? So I just want to make sure that you understand that. He says, begin this way of thinking and acting, and your faith and purpose will make you quick to see any opportunity to better your condition. Then he says, do not wait for an opportunity to be all that you want to be. When an opportunity to be more than you are now is presented and you feel impelled toward it, take it. It will be the first step toward a greater opportunity. How many of you out there are willing? Look at that. Look at that. You see it. How many of you are really willing to give yourself permission to take that opportunity when it shows up? Because when you have and you're practicing the advancing way that an advancing man or woman should think, believe, and it's oozing out of your pores and it's radiating from you, and people from all walks of life just want to come and be near you, and they're magnetically attracted to you because they see you moving in such a way, whether you have everything that it is that you want or not, but you show up in such a way like as if you already have it. People are magnetically, naturally drawn to other people that have that ability to be able to advance themselves in thought, word, or deed. And then other people around you, it's like you become like this radiating entity that people can just by being in your presence, they too begin to advance themselves just because you showed up. Just because you showed up and how you showed up for yourself. Okay. Last but not least, there is no such thing possible in this universe as a lack of opportunities for the man who is living the advancing life. It is inherent in the constitution of the cosmos that all things shall be for him and work together for his good. And he must certainly get rich if he acts and thinks in the certain way. So let the wage earning man and woman study this book with great care and enter with confidence upon the course of action it prescribes. It will not fail. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just show you that last part so you can see it. I think it's important for you to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do thank you for stopping by here today. This is such a wonderful time. Anyone who's not reading The Science of Getting Rich, I can't say it any more plainer. Get the book. I even have this book. I just purchased this book, okay? One of the collector copies. I have this book. I mean, it is phenomenal. I love all things Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. All things Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. And so for those of you who are interested in having this collector's copy, I will also put the link in the bottom of the page. I mean, in this on this video in the message, so you'll be able to see it and you can order yours as well. But this is the 100 collector's edition, The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. That's how that looks again. Let me just bring it close so you can see it. Okay, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. This is it. I love this, but I also still just use this. These are printed copies that I've had because I use this part here as a workbook so then I can write all in it, you know, put my little squigglies and all this other stuff. This here is just something that I will just read, but I will still keep this as my main workbook. You figure out a way how to do it. I will also put a link here at the bottom so you can print this off as a PDF as well for those of you who really want to study and show thyself approved. Again, I am Anne Humphrey, and I thank you for stopping by this evening. Today's date is August 13th, 2020, and the time right now is 8:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic, fantastic evening. Bye-bye. Wow, this is wonderful.